Hello and welcome to Serdd's Audio Fanfictions. I'm Serdd. Thanks for tuning in. This is The Quiz by bluebell-uk, a Harry Potter fanfiction. Summary. Fed up with fangirls after him, Harry submits a quiz to Witch Weekly. What will the results be? One shot. HHR. Rated G for general audiences. Relationship: Harry Potter, Hermione Granger. It was originally published May of 2010 and is complete with one chapter. Right, with all that out of the way, let's get to it. Happy listening. Oh, honestly, Hermione huffed as she slammed down the complimentary copy of Witch Weekly that had arrived with the morning's Daily Prophet, narrowly missing her goblet of pumpkin juice. "What's up, Hermie?" her friend mumbled around a mouthful of scrambled eggs. She glared at him. "Ronald, how many times?" "Sorry." He quickly swallowed. "What's up, Irony?" he added quickly at the look both his best friends sent him. This rubbish," she growled, waving the glossy magazine under their noses. "You would think that with Voldemort's return, they would have more important things to publish. I have a good mind to write a letter to the editor. Harry, pass me my bag, please," she asked, reaching under the table for the bag that was just out of her reach. "Thanks," she added, as Harry nudged it over with his foot. "Are you going to tell us what's gotten you riled up?" the emerald-eyed boy asked, spreading marmalade onto a piece of toast. "Sorry, it's this bit in the magazine. Listen. Harry Potter, how well do you know him? I mean, where did they get the time to make up and print such nonsense?" "You mean they finally printed it?" Harry asked, looking more interested now. "You knew about it? And you let them go ahead?" Hermione looked shocked. "Of course I did. It was my idea." "Why'd you do that?" questioned Ron, a puzzled look on his face. "Well, I, needed a way to get these fangirls?" "Yes, fangirls. Thanks, Hermione." He sent her a small smile before continuing, waving a hand around the Great Hall. "I needed a way to get these fangirls to realize they don't know me as just Harry. They like the boy who lived." "But who aren't you?" At the looks from his friends, Ron continued, looking around at least 3/4 of the girls at Hogwarts were giggling girls pointing at his mate. "I mean, you are Harry, and you're the boy who lived. The best of both in one." "Ron, we know Harry. We understand that there is a person behind the moniker." "Okay, answer this. Who do you beat at Wizard's Chess at least once a week, even though you should be studying?" "Harry, of course." "Exactly, Harry. Just Harry." A look of comprehension appeared on Ron's face. "Anyway, I made a deal with the editor of the Prophet and Witch Weekly. I paid for a copy of the magazine to go with each Prophet, explaining that the magazine still gets paid and they might increase the number of their readers. I promised the Prophet an exclusive interview with me in return. I just didn't say it would be about or with me. But what happens is, you fill in your answers, select a symbol and code name, and then press a sickle into the page, which is then transported to a vault of Simungos, and your answers are marked. Also, a copy of your answers appear in the Prophet, who will contact me in about a week and let me know how many people got all the answers right." Harry grinned. "That's bloody brilliant, mate." Somewhere in the castle a deep bell was rung, and Hermione jumped up. As if she'd been electrocuted, Harry thought. "Come on, we'll be late for class." Later that evening, whilst the boys were at Quidditch practice, Hermione was sitting in the common room trying to do her reading for the next month. However, she could not focus, as the main topic of conversation among her fellow lions seemed to be the quiz. "I'm telling you, the answer's milk," one girl was saying. Romilda Vine, if Hermione remembered correctly. No, it's not. Harry has stayed at my house nearly every summer, and he always has pumpkin juice with his breakfast, Ginny Weasley replied. Wrong, muttered Hermione under her breath before turning the page. Excuse me, Hermione. Think you know better, do you? I happen to be the chair of the Harry Potter fan club here at Hogwarts, and I know everything about him, Romilda challenged. Really? Hermione raised her eyes off the book. Yes, in fact, how about a little competition between us three? She answered, pointing at herself, Hermione, and Ginny. I'll even pay the 3 sickles. Or are you too scared that you won't know all the answers? Fine, she huffed. But we split up, so no copying answers. Agreed, the other 2 said together, before they all went to separate tables. Hermione pulled out her own copy of the magazine and started to read. She had been meaning to throw it away, but never got round to it. Harry Potter. How well do you know him? We here at Witch Weekly bring you a new quiz all about Harry Potter. How well do you really know him? Think you know him? Think you would be the best witch for him? Take our quiz and find out. Please note, all questions and the answers were supplied by the boy who lived directly. Hermione skipped through the instructions, added a symbol and code name before looking at the questions. What is Harry's favourite morning drink, and how does he take it? Well, that's easy. Coffee with milk and 2 sugars. But he really should cut down on all that sugar. It's bad for his teeth. What is Harry's favourite class at Hogwarts? Oh, come on. Harry, these questions aren't even hard. Who is Harry's favourite teacher presently at Hogwarts? Okay, that would be harder for the fangirls. Harry's favourite pastime is? Hermione smiled. Not many people would know the answer to that one, and she had been surprised when she found out that it was not flying, but cooking he enjoyed as a way of relaxing. She had followed him one night and found out he often went down to the kitchens to cook alongside the house elves. He admitted to her that it had taken a while to get them to agree, but as long as he ate the elves' food and they ate his, they did not mind. And both had learnt some new recipes. Last question. If Harry could choose his animagus form, what would it be? This time, a sad smile on her face, Hermione wrote the answer. An owl, so he could communicate with Hedwig, his first pet and friend. Hermione was still lost in thoughts when Ginny and Romilda appeared next to her. Ready? Romilda asked, handing out the silver coins. On 3 then? Ginny asked, and began counting down. 1, 2, 3. And they all pressed their coins to the mark on the page and watched as if an invisible hand was marking their answers. So, Gin, what did you pick as your symbol? Hermione asked. Oh, a bat holding a wand, Ginny answered, reading her sheet. Bad bogey? Romilda asked. A bit typical, really. I chose a cauldron cake for mine. Hermione? Probably a book. Ginny smiled to show she was only teasing. So, how did everyone do? Hermione asked as they all looked down at their papers. 2 out of 5? How did I only get 2 out of 5? Ginny shrieked, not noticing that Romilda had skulked away. I mean, everyone knows we're meant to be together. We're the new James and Lily. Everyone says so. We both have been possessed by Tom. He saved me in my first year. Ginny was pacing back and forth, reading the correct answers. I know... Know what, Gin? Harry had just come in through the portrait. Oh, hi, Harry. Ginny blushed, dropped her sheet and dragged him over to the sofa, pressing herself into his side. Nothing really. Just explaining to Hermione here that I thought the quiz was such a good idea. I mean, nobody knows you like me. I know that you enjoy cooking more than flying, even if you do want your animagus to be an owl. I know that you have to have coffee in the morning with milk and 2 sugars, not pumpkin juice like some of your fangirls think. And that McGonagall is your favourite professor, even though care of magical creatures is your favourite subject. She finished, smiling right into his eyes. Gee, Jin, I didn't realize you know so much about me. I knew you knew about the owl thing, 'cause you caught me telling Hedwig at headquarters. Here, Ginny, you forgot your answers. Whoops, sorry, Harry, Hermione said as she tripped over her bag and dropped Ginny's answers in Harry's lap. That's all right, Hermione. You should be more careful about where you put this, he said, helping Hermione to her feet and passing her bag to her. I know, silly me. How did I forget I had put that there? Well, I'm going to bed. Night, you two. Hermione smiled as she walked up the steps. She heard, So your code name was Firefly, huh, Jin? Yeah, well, because my hair is red and I like flying. Jin, it says here you only got 2 right? She could hear the puzzlement in his voice and slowed her steps to the top of the stairs. I gotta go, Ginny cried, leaping up and running up the stairs. Hermione ducked behind a tapestry, and when she was sure Ginny had gone, walked to her dorm, smiling. 1 week later, at breakfast, a large barn owl descended onto Harry. What's that? Ron mumbled. Oh, the prophet about the quiz last week. Morning, Harry, Hermione said, joining them at the table. I just had to return a book. Here's your coffee. Milk, 1 sugar. Thanks, Hermione, but I have 2 sugars. Harry smiled, taking the cup from her and reaching for the sugar pot. Yes, I know that, but sugar's bad for your teeth. They finished at the same time. Weird. So, anyone get them all right? Ron shook his head. Yeah, actually. Just one. Tiger lily. Apparently their symbol was a book titled Peter Pan surrounded by a ring of lilies. They sent me a copy, Harry said, passing it over to Ron without looking at the answers. I've got to go. I forgot my history homework. Hermione jumped up and nearly ran out of the Great Hall. Shaking his head, Harry turned to Ron, who had gone a little pale. Ron? Ron, are you okay? Harry, this is Hermione's handwriting, he whispered. What? He snatched the paper back. There was no denying it. And he would recognize that neat, precise handwriting anywhere. He looked to the hall doors where Hermione had disappeared. Tiger lily, he muttered thoughtfully. The end. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. This has been The Quiz, written by bluebell-uk, narrated by Serdd, theme music Spirited Away by Guillaume. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to tune in next month where we continue with the sequel to this, The Answer. Till next time, happy listening.